to the top left of the map.
Classic versus GuMiho.
It's indeed Classic, the Protoss player. His blink strategy in game number 1 did not turn out to work in his favor. That blink into the SCVs was also a big problem. Suddenly the Marines could really do a lot of damage to his force. The Terran opponent on Frost starts to the bottom left. It is that Towel Terran, it is GuMiho, the nine-tailed fox. He lost with an 0-2 against Classic in the first of best of 3 of the day. Now he is 1-0 against his opponent. One more map and he goes to Code S.
Old ESF fans, old StarCraft II fans from the beginning of StarCraft II in Korea are rooting for this guy, right? He's been around for so long. You know, he has a nickname Towel Terran because he brought that towel all the time in the booth. Artosa saw him in the qualifiers. He was always using it. That's where he got his original nickname. And you know, his ID comes from being the nine-tailed fox. He's a player who's great in the mid-game, constantly harassing. He's been around for so long. And his ability to come back in the late game when he's behind, win crazy engagements, his micro is so good. This is what he's famous for. He made a name for himself, not because he was a medium player, but because he was a great player. And now he wants to get back into Code S. And I believe, actually, if he wins this, he gets an ST award. So...
Well, the thing is, you know, we said it after the first best of 3. If he really wants to go to Code S, he has to step it up. And in game number 1, yes, he did it. But at the same time, Classic made a few mistakes that he simply didn't make in the first series. He had a few choices where he really thought, alright, I got this. This game's over. He blinked onto the tank and he tried to snipe it. He got the first one basically for free. Then the second one, he blinked into the SCVs. And that's where he suddenly got trapped. He couldn't move out anymore and he lost quite a few. Then he tried to move back and he had another misblink where he actually moved forward for a second with a few of his stalkers and lost additional 2. And if you really go for such a build, every stalker counts. So I don't want to take anything away from GuMiho's achievement in the first game, but it was also like made a bit easier because Classic made mistakes that in the first series he didn't do.
That's absolutely true. Cannot deny that. I mean, that is definitely true.
But you know, this is the third series, and there's a lot of suspense that is in. There's a lot of tension, and you have to be able to deal with this. And maybe this is a problem that Classic has. Maybe it's just like a situation where he, you know, is here for like how many hours? 3 or 4 hours. He's in the studio right now. Maybe it just starts to gnaw a little bit at him. Yeah. Maybe it was a loss against SS. Who knows? Maybe he got just unlucky. We're gonna find out right now, because if it was really just one bad game for Classic, then we should see exactly the same Protoss player again that dominated the first series against GuMiho.
We have a crazy, wacky, insane build, by the way, from GuMiho. It's lacking a command center. It's a 2 barracks play. This looks like Wings of Liberty 2010, 2 racks expand. But maybe GuMiho doesn't expand, maybe he pulls his SCVs, maybe he gets really aggressive. And this is something that Classic cannot scout right now because he went all the way to the wrong location. Now he's going to even you know, the second base, which is the wrong location. By the time he finds out what he's up against, there's going to be so many Marines with stem out. If the mothership core gets picked off or it's out in the middle of the map trying to scout, when this attack hits, he's going to be in so much trouble.
The thing is, if you actually move out with a really heavy bio force, if you get the stim out this early, then you can just try to burst down Nexus, for example, if there's nothing else. The Photon Overcharge is absolutely incredible, but if you have the unit amount and also the stim upgrade, then you can try to do that. And it looks a little bit like this is what he's going to do. Yeah. If you go for this much of a bio force in the beginning and for such an early stim, you want to do damage. It's not because you want to sit there and defend your command center.
Nobody's doing this build in Heart of the Swarm because the mothership core shuts it down flat. And without medevacs, you can't get in the main base.
Maybe nobody told GuMiho.
If you... See, this is why he sends this... This is why he sends this SCV. He's looking for the mothership core. He doesn't find it because it's at home. And if the mothership core is at home, the only thing he could try to do is literally run past the Nexus up the ramp. There's the late scout here, identifies that there's a very late CC, sees that stim is almost done, and now he's going to be on top of that with his mothership core. He pulls it way back. He's like, oh no.
Another problem is the Oracle. Oracles are pretty good against Marines when you support them with Stalkers, and of course the mothership core as well. If you micro it well, you can do a lot here. He's even trying to sneak past.
I think he's just going to try to run up the ramp.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's going to go up the ramp, and he's trying to chase down Stalkers. He gets one. How many does he get? He needs a second stim if he wants to get the third one, I think. There's the second Stalker already going down. He's losing the Marines, though, and I don't think that
now
was
he's
really
got nothing at home really to defend this. So I mean, he's got units in his main base, but his natural's exposed.
Well, actually, he gets it easy peasy.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake by Classic, but still. A win for GuMiho is a win for GuMiho. 40 Harvesters to 26. Classic looking a little stressed here. But still, economy-wise, he's in the better shape. 40 to 26 Harvesters right now. His tech is still in a good place. And he's got the armor upgrade coming out here. This is a weird build. I don't think that really worked out for GuMiho the way he wanted it to.
2 Stalkers, and he killed... It's not about the Marines that got killed, it's more about the Marines in addition to the delay on the CC.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
On the other hand, killing the Orbital without losing anything is pretty awesome.
That's true. Losing that Oracle, a bit of a definitely going to be a downer for Classic, but he has the armor upgrade. He's going to have the +2 armor upgrade very soon with the Twilight Council coming up. He can go right into the Psystorm and get Temporal Archives right after that Twilight Council's done. He's got enough gas to do all of these things at once, basically.
I mean, it's kind of what he did in the first series that we saw. He went into the charge upgrade, went straight into Storm, got those armor upgrades out there. So GuMiho should expect that. There we go. Widowmine being sent up. That missile turret is not going to kill the Oracle just yet, but only 1 kill on the air unit. And here comes the second wave of GuMiho's attack. The Medivac has been spotted by the Oracle, so he knows this one is coming. And
Widowmine goes down, and the Marines are here. Force Field is okay. Widowmine only gets 1 kill. I don't think he's going to get anything done here, though.
He could try to lift in the main base. Another problem, of course, is that all those stims are starting to hurt. That Widowmine, is that still there?
Yeah.
I think it's still there, right?
It is.
Okay, there we have the Widowmine. Could get a couple of additional kills, because I don't even know if Classic knows it's there.
I don't think he knows either.
Because he was busy using the Photon Overcharge and really watching those Marines and trying to see when they were moving in.
If he knew it was there, he would definitely have killed it with his Oracle by now, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And here comes the second wave. Boom. 4 more kills, so 5 kills in total.
And drops the cannon. But yeah, that Widowmine was worth it. That's a nice touch to it. Here comes the Oracle and takes it out, so he really didn't see it at the beginning.
Oh, he actually wants to get the Oracle. Does go down anyways, but yeah, he could have tried to push the Oracle away to keep the Widowmine alive.
It's dropping on top again. He's getting a third base. GuMiho is expanding again, and he's just rallying Marines across the map and trying to be as aggressive as possible. Only 3 of them going to the main base. Unfortunately, there are just already 2 Phoenixes, and they just lift.
We're basically seeing exactly what we saw between these guys in game number 2 earlier. This is not good for Classic. He doesn't want to trade his Zealots like this. You know, he pushes this back. The Phoenixes are the big problem. But he's losing a lot of Zealots here.
He's losing a lot of Zealots. The problem is really that Archon moving. And at some point, without Medivac support, he is out of stims. He's stimming again. Another Zealot goes down. Decent trade so far, but the army size is a lot better for Classic.
GuMiho is running into that brick wall again, just like game 2. He was doing it with a third base, but you have to keep your units alive, and this is why Classic follows up the Oracle with the Phoenixes. He already committed to a Stargate, so why not make a few Phoenixes to make sure you can shut down the retreats of these units and pick up Marines? And I'm worried for GuMiho because he can no longer attack. He now has to defend. And this third base that he has that he wanted to keep up safely by pressuring, he no longer has any pressure on the map. And here comes Classic walking across the map ready to tie this series up, because I mean, look at the supply. 43 army to 22, dead even in the worker count. And don't even get me started on the tech. The +2 armor coming out, and Colossus tech is going to be started soon. He's also got the Psystorm nearly completed. I think he started Robo and canceled it and then restarted it. Yeah, that was a little bit weird.
Well, at least this time he gets the Ghost Academy, so maybe that works for him. And that's something that he didn't do in the last series, or in the first series that they played. But I don't know, everything that GuMiho tried didn't really work out so far.
Yeah.
And he's just falling too far behind. The Protoss player can take his third base without being too much contested. The Phoenixes are great for the scouting information, they're great for anti-drop. GuMiho really needs to win the battle between the High Templars and the Ghost this time. And that's actually the first time that we really are going to see this battle. We had a few Ghosts in one of the games, I think in the second game of the first best of 3, but never really in a position where it was this feedback versus snipe, storms and EMPs. That didn't really happen. We had like 2 Ghosts that were trying to run in and get some EMPs off and immediately got slaughtered.
Yep. Here comes the attack. And let's see if GuMiho is ready. He's got bunkers, he's got a wall. I don't think this is going to be an attack that Classic can actually pull off, but he doesn't have to. He can pull back and take a third Nexus, which is what he's doing. It looks like it just completed. He's sending his probes over.
Yeah, that's also definitely not his entire army. He has still a lot of units back at home. That's not 70 supply.
No, it's definitely not. GuMiho is getting his upgrades out nicely because he's actually going to get ahead in that regard for a little while because there was only one Forge for Classic. He's going for that High Templar drop again. Phoenix is over here ready to harass as well. And that factory is in a great place for scouting. You could also use it to make Widow Mines to intercept the drops as well.
The poor Prism stopped for a second, was like, ah, shit.
Well, double storm here.
Well, 15 Harvesters killed versus 6. I don't know, the GuMiho should have seen that one come a mile ahead.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, he was worried about the Phoenixes that were harassing his third base, but he saw with the factory that there was a Warp Prism drop coming. He already dealt with this in the previous series. Another SCV gets taken out here, 16 in total. Worker count better still for Classic. He's got the better tech. His army is more expensive. It's a better composition. It has Storm. Soon to be Colossi with Robotic Scorpion now on the way, as you guys can see on the production tab.
That third base is going strong for him. I mean, they're a very similar economy. Terran player slightly ahead when he drops his mules, and till then it's basically used for scans. But right now we have Classic just in a very stable position once again. Back at home, the Mothership Core between the two Nexi, making sure that he can use the Photon Arbitrage if need be, if there's a drop that sneaks somehow past his army.
True.
Upgrades are really the good thing for GuMiho, as you already said. With a double engineering, they can really make that work. But now, oh, nice Storm here. Yeah. Classic is getting the second Forge. He wants to go for the double upgrade now himself.
He wants to be aggressive here. Storms don't care about upgrades. Few Vikings here preemptively prepared for not only catching that Warp Prism, but more importantly the Colossi. There aren't any Colossi just yet. I really want to see the unit tab again because I think GuMiho is now switching over to Heavy Marauder. Yeah, he's still 30 to 15, but his Marauder count is quite high, which means he can eat quite a few Storms. First one goes down on top of the Ghost. Nice snipe there. Ghosts have a lot of hit points too, besides the Marauders.
You can really keep them alive much easier, especially when you have the Medivacs. Does he realize that he has units in one of his Medivacs? I really hope so.
I hope so too. This Storm drop that's coming across, I hope he realizes as well, because that's going to do a lot of damage to him potentially.
What's in the Medivac? Is that's not only Ghosts. If that was just like Ghosts, but I don't know. Well, that's the Warp Prism got shut down. And of course also the High Templar. He lost a few additional SCVs, but he's still fine. Worker supply at 67 against 60. Yeah, that's just highlighted again.
Line of sight blocker here, going to hide these High Templar, and he wants to get the flank off. Oh, this is so tense. The Ghost always ready. Storm goes down here prematurely. He wants to get the feedback, does.
Yeah, but the snipes are good as well. And he snipes immediately the Observer. That was an important one. Limiting the vision now.
2-3 upgrades coming up for the Protoss army. +3 attack only for GuMiho. He didn't have that armor upgrade queued up just yet. Decent Storms here, but not the best.
Yeah, and good snipes too, taking those High Templars out. The Marauders at the front, tanking that damage. And here we go again. There are no Storms left. Oh, and there I go. Sorry, I didn't see that High Templar, and he did some damage as well. The Zealots charging in. The Colossi trying to close the distance and do the damage with the laser beams, going full laser attacks there. And at the same time, we have GuMiho dropping in supply. Even more Storms going down now. And the entire bio army of the Terran player is just melting away.
Melting away here. Another Storm goes down. The Phoenixes are on the chase. The Marauders so low in hit points. The upgrades for the Protoss player catching up so quickly. Classic on the chase here, and those Phoenixes do so much for him. No forward warping point means it's going to take him a little bit longer time to reinforce, but GuMiho on the ropes here.
Range is done for the Colossi now. That was not the case during the battle, and we have also the upgrades about to be completed for the Protoss player, which gives him another lead then. The +2 armor upgrade there, soon to be +3.
And no Vikings.
+2 attack nearly done, and GuMiho is looking in, is in pretty bad shape at this point.
He lost so many medevacs, so if he wants to make Vikings, he has to sacrifice his build time. And, you know, he has 8 medevacs now, no Vikings. He makes a second starport, but I think it might be too late. Here we go. Where are the Storms? Time Warp is basically perfect. The Storms are decent, pushing this back, and the Colossi from the back doing their damage to that bunker.
The Terran army is pushed back by the Storms. The Colossi doing their damage. They're completely uncontested. The High Templars getting close enough as well. Morphed into Archons right now. The Storms are all gone. So much damage done. GuMiho below 100 supply, lifting his third base and trying to fly to safety. But the Protoss player warps in another massive set of units and just goes into the high ground of the natural, trying to charge in with the Zealots and finish this game.
Yeah, this is going to be it. GuMiho down to 79 supply. Classic, solid play of this game. Great goes into the late game, doesn't rush out third base, plays it safe, and that's all he needed to do here. GuMiho going for one last-ditch drop, but it will be saved, of course, by just a warping of Zealots at home easily. And GuMiho is going to go to a third game. GG!
GG indeed. Classic with a much better game 2 against his Terran opponent, and we are going to the last map to determine who goes to Code S.
GuMiho not looking so happy here, but
Stressed out.
this is not a comfortable place for Classic either. As you see his hands shaking there as he holds the top pack, trying to keep his hands warm, trying to keep himself focused going to the third game, which is on GuMiho's map choice.
That's an advantage that he definitely has now. It's his map.
What's it going to be, GuMiho? I'm just, the silence here is the suspense, the tension.
I mean, Classic, he looked really nervous after the first game, or not too happy. Right now, it's just like, alright, it comes down to a last map between the two of them. And GuMiho, he knows that he can beat his opponent. This is the most important map of the day for him.
He could pick Daedalus. It's a wide open natural. Don't know about the rush distance, though, for Terran versus Protoss. What's it going to be, GuMiho? The world is waiting for him to make that choice. This is the most important thing for us to know right now. He's wiping his hands.
Do you think he has a favorite towel?
He seems to switch them a lot. He picks Daedalus. Okay, I like this choice. It's a really wide open natural. Is this something where if he doesn't attack like we saw before with Marines Mirage at the natural, maybe he could fan out and do a little bit more avoiding the force fields? And Protoss hate this map anyways. He's like, I saw on Reddit. They're not happy. But really, I think this is a smart choice. It's the rush distance is not too terrible either by ground. And Classic's going to have to live with it. This is tense, man. If GuMiho takes this would be a huge upset. Especially considering he got crushed earlier 2-0.
Needed some time to warm up, I guess.
Talking to himself for just a moment here. Classic starting to look a little bit more calm, a little bit more ready.
Classic looks like he just wants to go now. He wants to start that game, and GuMiho as well. We're going into the match, ladies and gentlemen. The last map of the day here in the Group A of GSL Code A. We are jumping into the last game between GuMiho and Classic. Who is going to advance to Code S right now? We're going to find out in just a few seconds with the GSL Code A with Column.